All right, it is Monday, and we know what that means. It is time for Help Talk. And you've got me, Loralyn, right? Dr. LL, and my lovely co-founder here, Phil Vetrano, pointing to the logo of HELPipdia, where we are focused on finding all kinds of ways to support youth. So youth development, which doesn't mean just things for kiddos and teenagers. It means we find ways to be able to support the parents of the kiddos and of the teenagers. And it's all towards how do we do better, do more, help each other, create this community that we're building in and around Helpipdia. And today, to that end, we've got a wonderful guest. We've got Keven Shaw here of Mufasa Mentorship. And he's going to tell you what that means because it is a Swahili term that I had to look up, to be honest. And he is all about helping this whole next generation and generations beyond his own find ways to be better, to experience greatness, to work towards it. So, Keven, before I slaughter anything any further, why don't you give folks a little bit more of a background about yourself, your recent success in graduation, and also talking about the topic here to cue us up for 7 Steps to Greatness. Keven.
Hey, hello everybody out there. I'm Keven. My name of my company is called Mentoring, which is Swahili for pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for about 3 years now. Born and raised in North Carolina, went to pharmacy school in North Carolina, and relocated to the western part of the state to serve in my community. So I just want to be a beacon of hope and a person that everyone can look to give advice or to help lead them to the path they want to go. So,
Oh, excellent. Well, we are excited to have you here, and we are going to dive right in. And so we've learned a little bit about already that in your background and focus on pharmacists, but from the conversations that we've had, I don't think that the steps that you're talking about are limited to
mhm.
pharmacists. They're much broader application on how anyone from a youth to an adult can work towards achieving greatness. So why don't we dive in and get us started with the first step to achieving greatness?
All right. So the first step I would say is, what path do you want to take? So what does that look like for everyone? Everyone has a different path they want to pursue. And so it's up to that person to sit down and come up with an idea of where you want to go. And from there, you can start formulating your plan on how you would go about that.
Okay, so if we summarize this, the first step, because I was, typing at the same time. Um, let's see. So we'd say step 1, if we summarize it for our audience here who likes reading the captions. What would you say?
The
How would you
path, your
identify your
path. Yes.
Okay. All right, we've got that. All right, Phil, maybe you want to add something because there's a lot of similarity with what Phil does. Phil coaches folks with his business planning and vision, helping high school students figure out what that next step is after high school. It might be college, it might not be. Phil, anything you want to add to the step 1 here about identifying your path?
Yeah, it's definitely a goal that we should all have, and not necessarily do we have to do it ourselves. A lot of folks can provide a lot of insight and help to know what their options are. And so this is something that can be appended to the step number 1 is to identify your path, have that goal to do that, but definitely could lean on a lot of people across a lot of different professions to help support that understanding, especially for those who are not sure what they want to pursue, which is not something easy for students or for adults to figure out. So the more that they're open-minded to a lot of different conversations and meeting a lot of people, which is opposite of don't talk to strangers. So this is something that I'm constantly advocating, and it's great to hear Keven also identify the first step is identifying your path, which is really important.
Excellent. All right. So, Keven, with that, why don't you continue? Oh, we've got hello to Shaya. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the comments here. Absolutely. You are totally right that Keven and Phil are on the path here with what we've got going on. All right, Keven, what would you say step 2 is?
Step 2, I would say, is what are you willing to sacrifice? We all know that all these things that we want to accomplish comes with many sacrifices. We have to give things up. We have to put things aside in order to go where we're trying to go. So what are you willing to sacrifice to get to that goal?
Are you willing to share any examples? I mean, you just went through a fairly grueling process. I know some of the colleges you mentioned, North Carolina, I used to live there, and you talked about the path to becoming a pharmacist. That's not easy. There's a lot of studying, there's licensure, there's all kinds of stuff. Would you care to share some of the sacrifices and things that you had to do to put you on this path?
Absolutely. One big one I would say is sacrificing time, sometimes with the people you love, because of the goal you're trying to accomplish. It requires you to give everything you have. So there might be parties, birthday parties, celebrations, maybe just a get together with your friends and family that you may not be able to go to that time, but next time it comes around, you'll be able to go to it then. So being open minded with your family and friends, letting them know that you appreciate their support, you love them, you cherish them, but you also have a job to do at the time. And when the time is right, you'll come back to them and you'll come back together.
Exactly. Phil, do you feel like sharing anything about some of the sacrifices you've made along the way in entrepreneurship and on the path to personal growth?
Yeah, the time management is an important skill for this, to prioritize and identify the things that are really important for you to accomplish your goals. So, and certainly there's the family commitments that you may have, and certainly the professional commitments you may have. So you're balancing that out and making decisions. And sometimes they're hard decisions. Sometimes they're hard conversations to have. But at minimum, you're being transparent. You want to be transparent to share the goals that you and the dreams that you have, so that people understand why it is that you're doing what you're doing, and what choices you're making to sacrifice some of the time and maybe the fun times that you could be having, that you're dedicating to your goals.
Excellent. That's true, right? We've all got to be ready for that. There is no free lunch, as they say, right? There is not, right? If they say it's free, read the fine print. Right there.
Yes.
All right, Keven, step 3.
Step 3 is to formulate a plan. So, like Phil said before, having a group of people around, a great support system to help you come up with this plan, putting things down on paper. Some of the best things that you can come up with is going to be accomplished by you putting it down on paper, having someone to hold you accountable, and moving through that process.
Oh, it is. I mean, this is why coaching is so important for folks, or mentorship. And maybe, do you mind if I do a little sidebar? Because people often blur coaching and mentorship.
Mhm.
Coaching is in and around, usually their whole task is just what you said, holding people accountable and
Mhm.
nudging you so that you figure it out for yourself, where to go, how to do it, that kind of thing. Mentorship is lived experience. Yeah, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and I'm going to speak my mind and tell you, do this or not, don't do that, because I did it and I got fried, or I did it and it worked out really well for me. And this is so true. We've got Jashia commenting here too, that sometimes it is hard to make the sacrifices, but in the end, they do help you, right? It's towards the goal of being greater, right? Greater than you were, better than you were yesterday. You don't have to boil the ocean and take it all the way, but you have to do some things differently to get you there. All right, Keven, would you give us step 4, please?
Step 4 is to revise the plan and look for any changes that need to be made. So sometimes our rough draft may not be what we end up going with later on. So we have to look at the plan, make sure it's getting to the point that we need it to get to, and go back and implement that change as well.
Okay, I saw Phil. Your lips and hands didn't move, so I'm jumping in. That's just it. People think, oh yeah, there it is. There's the business plan, or there's the goal. I set it in January. We all know Quitter's Day is the second Friday in January. So,
Yes.
right? So if we're setting the goal, okay, great. We got a plan. We did this. We're going to do that, whatever. You've got to be prepared to revise it because X happened, Y happened, whatever, right? Things changed in the world or in the market. And now you've got to think about it. It doesn't mean give up, it's over. It means look more closely at your plan, look at it as a good foundation, but look at it as a draft and work in progress. Like it's never done, right? Just like we're not. We're never done. We're never baked. You got to keep going and going and going, right? All right.
Yes.
So anyway, you can see I was very enthusiastic about step 4. I really believe in that one. Phil, anything to add there?
No, that's certainly good. And the other suggestions and ideas that you're getting to accomplish your goals, sometimes those strategies, if you're writing those strategies down, there are shortcuts to take that you may not know about, and you may be going the long way, and it's not necessary. You may be recreating the wheel, and leveraging someone else's advice could be really tremendously helpful to you.
Because none of us have ever recreated the wheel, right? Yeah.
All have.
Loud laughter. Yeah. Right? Bingo, bingo, bingo. All right, we're rolling along here. Step 5, please.
Step 5 would be to employ your plan on a small goal or on a small scale. So something as simple as, maybe you want to, I don't know, get in shape in the next 3 months. Okay, what steps can you take to get there? What does that look like for you? Maybe setting a time frame that, hey, I need to come back to the drawing board and see what worked and what didn't work. After maybe 2 or 3 weeks, did this go well? Did that go well? What went well? Why did it go well? And then looking at what didn't go well and why didn't it go well? And then from that point on, just keep revising it, keep revising it, keep revising it.
And that's just so important. There's that stupid expression that I hate and haven't found a better one yet, but they're like, oh, you can eat an elephant one bite at a time, which I think is horrific. And if anyone has a better expression, please put it in the comments because it makes sense, but I think it's terrible. So, but that's just it, right? Do that pilot, do that small scale. Don't boil the ocean, right? Boil the cup first, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things that runners do, and or when you're easing into, that's the word we use, easing into something, instead of the jumping in full speed and taking on more than you could chew. Healthy habits are really important, and it takes a while to start an exercise routine. So managing your expectations about what you're about to embark upon, and certainly they always say, talk to your doctor before you dive in to anything, but definitely ease and lower the expectations so that you are gradually making nice improvements towards your health and exercise.
And one of our audience members here, so thank you for joining us, Key the Creative. You're so right, spot on, right? It's the small scale plan because it doesn't make the goal seem so big. Right? We can get discouraged if our goal is boil the ocean, right? We're like, we will try and try and try. We'll never get there. We'll just become defeated. We'll get depressed. We'll be despondent. We'll give up, right? Quitter Friday, right? Quitter's Day, the second Friday in January. We can't even get through a whole month. So do stuff that makes the goal seem smaller and more attainable. All right. We are cracking on here. All right. Step 6.
Step 6 is revise the plan. You can never revise the plan too many times. You have to revise the plan. You have to be able to self-assess or have someone that will help you self-assess and just keep going back to the drawing board.
Can you say more on that? Because I think you said a really magical key phrase, right? Self-assess, because so many of us lack the perspective, the ability to turn the lens inward and go, oh, did we do it right? We're like, no, fabulous. Everything's like, yeah, right? Talk to us about that. I think it's really important.
I would say, in my experience over time, the best way that I can self-assess anything is to sit back and look at me. Where am I not measuring up to the person that I want to see in the mirror? Where am I not getting better at the things that I know that I should be getting better at? And that's a very hard thing to do when you have to sit down and ask yourself, am I measuring up? Am I doing everything I possibly can to be the person I want to be? That requires a lot of work, a lot of practice. And a lot of times the success that you get from that doesn't come overnight. It happens over time. So sometimes it may take 3-4 years before you start seeing sustainable, a lot of results from doing that. You may see small changes, but over time they will become to increase and you will see more of a change in yourself. So self-assessment is so important for a lot of people.
It is. And so many of us, right, we wear blinders. No, I'm fine. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Right. And meanwhile,
Mhm.
right, this thing, whatever is something is looming over
Yes.
us. Yeah, I get it. All right. Bring us home. Step 7.
Step 7, apply the plan to a bigger goal. So now we've come full circle. We applied it to a small goal. We revised the plan. We went through all the steps. We looked at what didn't work, what did work. Now we're going to put it on a bigger goal. So that bigger goal may be embarking on education. Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to mend a relationship that hasn't been the best. Maybe you want to inspire yourself to write a book. That may be the goal. So applying those small steps that we already talked about can be applied to anything that you want to be applied to. It doesn't have any limitations.
Oh, I love it. All right. We're going to do a run through again just to wrap up the show and bring this home. So I'll flash them on the screen. And Keven, if you would be willing to go through and just help our audience just really reinforce the 7 steps you just taught us, the 7 steps to greatness. Are you ready?
All right. Step number 1, identify your path. Step 2, consider the sacrifice. Step 3, formulate a plan. Step 4, revise the plan.
My favorite. And I'm so excited it appears again. That's how important it is.
Step 5, implement your plan on a small scale first. Step 6, revise the plan.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
And step 7, apply the plan to a bigger goal.
Keven, I'm really grateful that you took the time here today from North Carolina, dialing in, talking to us about how we can take all of these steps one at a time and not feel overwhelmed, but work towards greatness. Get through, do a cycle, right? It's like continuous improvement. Do a PDCA cycle. And so I've learned that continuous improvement, and then achieve the smaller goal. And then, you're not done. Do it again. Do another cycle, right? And just keep climbing up that hill. Anything else that you'd like to add to for our audience here today?
I would just add one more thing. Just trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. It took me 2 years of sitting down, working on what I wanted to do with my life post school to come up with this plan of what I'm doing now. So trust the process, put in the time, put in the effort, and watch your dreams come true.
Oh, that's beautiful. How can people find you, Keven?
They can find me on Instagram at unfamasia_mentoring. And also you can email me at unfamasiamentoring2k24@gmail.com.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to repeat that again because I didn't quite get it and put it in the chat. So at Unfamasia on your Instagram at
_unfamasia_mentoring.
Okay, there we go. Mentoring. There we are.
And then email wise, you can email me at unfamasiamentoring2k24@gmail.com.
Mentoring 2k24@gmail.com. All right, there we go. Not for the faint of heart to get that right, and hopefully I've got it right. But folks, we'll put the information in the notes at the end of the live stream here. And again, Keven, wanted to thank you again. We'll take a look for you on Instagram and get us out there. You can find us at HELPipdia. And on behalf of Phil and I, we hope everybody has a great week, and look up Keven if you're looking for some mentoring support. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.